informative speech, and you will be producing an alphanumeric Roman numeral full sentence outline. So I want to go over this sample, give you a little bit of information to help you do this correctly and make sure that you know what is expected. So the first thing you'll notice, I said full sentence. This should be in full sentences. Each point at any level is one sentence. We're not going to have paragraphs in this. The way that you indicate paragraphs is by using subpoints, and we'll look at that in a little bit. Roman numeral, full sentence, alphanumeric. That means you're going to use Roman numerals as well as letters and numbers in your outline. We'll show you what all that looks like in a second. First thing I want to draw your attention to is the title page. You can see we have a title. The title should be something that has to do with your paper. Don't use informative speech outline. Actually use a title that is what you would title your speech or your paper if you were turning this into a paper. So you want to be sure that it indicates what your speech is going to be about. Put your name on it, department, the institution. Down here, the date should become the date that you submit the paper. You also put a page number on it, but if you've ever used APA before, you notice that there's no other header information. You're just going to have that page number. Be sure that the page number and the whole document are all in the same font. It may default to different fonts in Microsoft Word. You do not need an abstract. In an APA paper, page 2 is the abstract. In an outline, you do not need the abstract, so do not worry about it. Page 2 will be the beginning of your outline. Notice that you repeat the title on the first line. Then, for Roman numeral number 1, you're going to have the word introduction. That actual word is Roman numeral number 1. That word plus the word conclusion are the only words on this outline sample that should actually be in your outline. Everything else will be your own sentences. So you will not have the words attention getter sentence. You will actually have the sentence that is your attention getter. You will not have the words thesis statement sentence. You will actually have the first sentence of your thesis, or the only sentence if you only have one. If you have 2 sentences in your approved thesis statement, sentence number 2 will be part C. That's the end of your introduction. The thesis statement and number sentence are always the last 2 points of the introduction. Then 2, 3, and possibly 4 in your Roman numeral outline, you're going to have the topic sentence for each of your main points. This is like the mini thesis statement for each of your main points. You should have 2 or 3 main points. Then you're going to give supporting sentence, supporting details. This format is just here to show you how to lay out the outline. You do not have to go this deep, although the farther you go with it, the easier it will be to write a speech or paper. You can go to 1 and 2 under B. The next thing and the final thing that you'll put in here is letter C, and it will be your transition sentence. This will be the sentence that will help you transition from this point to the next point. And that will go on all of your main points. It does not need a citation because it is not a fact. It is something that just helps connect the 2 main points. So that will be something that goes there for all of your main points. Big thing you want to notice here is the indentation. The Roman numerals are left aligned. Next layer is a 1/2 inch indent. Next layer is at 1 inch indent, or another 1/2 inch, then another 1/2 inch. You do not want to use Microsoft's auto formatting. Don't let it auto format your list. Be sure you select none for the auto formatting, and then you just use your tab key to indent a 1/2 inch each time. So if I was going to do a next level, I would use the tab key and it would go right here. And that would be my next level. Spacing becomes very important. Indentation becomes very important in outlines. So it's important that you make sure that you are paying attention to that and that you are doing exactly what you need to do to space your outline correctly. That is a part of your grade. The final part of your paper outline then becomes the conclusion. You're going to restate your thesis. Don't use the exact same words. You're going to summarize your main points. Again, don't use the exact same words. And then you're going to do what's called implications for future study, or kind of the next steps to learn more. So you're going to tell people why this topic needs to be explored further. You're going to tell people that now that you have this information, here's what you should look at next. You're going to give kind of a future what the next step is. This, however, should not be a major action step. Major action steps are saved for persuasive speeches. This is just future research. This is the research that needs to be done in the future about this topic. Then you're going to have a reference page. Your reference page will be the last page of your document, no matter where your outline ends, it's always on a new page, and you're going to have all of your sources listed here. This will include any sources for presentation aids that you mentioned. This will include your 2 scholarly sources. And remember that you are required to have 2 scholarly sources. If you have questions about how to cite this information, you want to be sure you're going to the Purdue OWL and looking at the APA guide. So let me just show you very, very quickly how to look at the APA guide in the Purdue OWL. It always make sure it starts with APA 7th, the most current version. You want to be in APA 7th. When you are doing in-text citations, that will be over here, these 2 things, in-text citations. When you are looking at how to cite reference list sources, most of your reference list sources are going to be electronic sources. These are going to be journal articles, scholarly journal articles from the library's site, and I'll show you what to do with that in a moment. So if it has a DOI, this is how you do it, whether it has a number or whether it has a URL. If it does not have a DOI, then you have to give us the date you retrieved it and the URL for where you retrieved it. That's going to be 99% of your sources. So when you're doing your research, you want to be sure you're going to the library. Please do not be using Google. Googling things is not a resource. You want to be sure you're going to the library and you want to type in your information about what to do, what you're searching for. So I'm going to type in APA 7th edition changes because that's literally what my outline is about. And you will see that I will get a whole list of things that are new about APA changes. It's going to give all kinds of stuff, all kinds of sources. You may have to sort through things. You may have to get more specific. I got a lot of stuff that's not specifically about what my topic is, so you may have to revise what you're searching for. For example, we've talked about different concepts of things to look for. One of the sentences that you worked on in week 5 was about emotion and color, so we could research how color impacts emotion. And we're going to get a whole bunch of sources that talk to us about that. We can specify that we want it to be a journal article. We can specify that we want it to be peer-reviewed and scholarly and to have the full text online. You notice our numbers going down, down, down. We also can specify we want it to be in the last 5 years. So from 2015 to 2020. So now we've narrowed it down and we're going to get a whole lot better sources by doing that. And that's going to help us search for things. If you are having trouble with searches, that sort of thing, you can always go to on the library site. You can go over here and get help with things. You can get research help down here in yellow. If you click this, that's going to take you to get research help where you can submit information and they will work with you. You can also go to the Writer Center, click on that and go to the Writer Center. And this will help you schedule an appointment for them to review your assignment via a video session or an email session. If you need help with those things, you want to be sure you schedule that as soon as possible so that you can make sure that you are getting exactly what you need and get everything done in time. As always, if you have questions about the outline or about research, you can always contact me via email or the Remind text and let me know that you have questions and we can talk through them or set up a time to meet if necessary. Hope you guys are having a good day and I'll talk to you soon.